What's going on, people? My name's Izzi and this is Harbour Conversations. Here at Harbour Co, we believe that conversations shape culture, and therefore we want to push this narrative even further through creating a platform where discussions will help you lead a true life of freedom. Enjoy. Why do we do what we do? Why do we think the way we think? Do we really have free choice in this life, or are we simply slaves to society? Projections of picture-perfect lives on our social media feeds has made it extremely difficult to truly understand what it means to live a joyful and honest life. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to be talking to a few friends of mine from all different walks of life in an honest, open and transparent way in order to bring out the truth from the lies that we've been fed. What's going on, people? On today's episode of Harbour Conversations, we talk about faith. I'm joined by my good friend Dan and also a very famous face, our very own Josh Mark Walton, as we really dissect the topic of faith, coming at it from a different angle, exploring what it really means to live in faith and what it means to have a relationship with God. Hope you guys enjoy. What's going on, Harbour Co? We are back again with another episode of Harbour Conversations, looking at the topic of faith. Now, this topic is it's a topic that a lot of people have a lot of opinions on without really understanding exactly what it is, which is why I got my two good friends over here to help dissect a little bit. But before we get on the conversation, why don't you guys introduce yourselves with the added question of, if you had £1 billion, what would you spend on?
Nice. Thanks, Izzy. My name is Josh Walton. I'm a student down here in Portsmouth. I'm heading into my final and third year. I'm one of the founders of 360 Media,
Nice.
so give a shout out to them. And £1 billion.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know where to start, mate. I'd do my bit, church and charity, help some family members out, and then I'd consider buying a football club.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the big ones.
Chelsea?
I wouldn't dabble in the Chelsea, Watford, West Ham area. I'd
Not there.
go for the big clubs.
Gosh.
That's me.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, so I'm Daniel Williams. Second year. I graduated 2 years ago. I wish I was a second year to get that youth back. I graduated 2 years ago from the University of Southampton.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa.
Okay.
Big up Saints. Nah, I'm joking. I was actually born in London. If we go on football topic, I am an Arsenal fan. Pray for us. We need prayer. It's tough being an Arsenal fan.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. What would I do with £1 billion? Obviously, I'd give at least my 10% to the church. You know how it goes. Gotta be, in the good books of the big man upstairs and the church as well. And then I'll help some friends, like I'm saying, like you guys here, of course, and then some of my friends, and I'll help out Arsenal. Why not? They need some world-class players. So
Hey, that's so good.
Yeah, that's what I'll do, and invest a little bit as well, of course.
Property.
Keep it rolling. You know what I mean?
So good.
Yeah.
Love that. I'm really excited about this topic right now, especially because it's something that a lot of people have kind of misunderstood. They don't really spend time understanding what it is, because in society and culture today, they would say that faith is about rules and religion and stuff that just isn't relatable today. And I personally think that that's a myth. And I was wondering, for you guys, do you believe it's a myth as well, or do you believe there's some truth to it?
I think I can understand where the ideas and preconceptions and myths that you said there come from.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people's only experience of church is like religious ceremonies or like weddings, christenings, funerals, an example. So I can understand why their only experience of church would be quite a traditional experience of church. So that would piece together the idea of what church is like to them. So I can definitely understand where they get the ideas from, but I don't think that is representative of the church as a whole. Yeah. I think what the difference is between the Christian faith and a lot of other faiths is that we don't have to do anything to earn God's love. It's not a works-based religion, which a lot of other religions are. So we don't have to climb a ladder to reach the top. By accepting Jesus, we get there already. So I think that's one of the differences that is often missed when we talk about church. And obviously that is built all around all around faith. And I think as well, society has kind of shifted away from the message of the Bible, but it's kind of keeping the teachings as well. I think, I don't think many people would disagree with the lifestyle that the Bible teaches, but I think people have shifted away from the Jesus and the God and the Holy Spirit side of the Bible. So there are definitely preconceptions and myths, like you said, but I think once you get involved with church and you actually see what it is all about, then I think those stereotypes will be broken down.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I completely agree with what he was saying. It's like pure gold what he was saying as well. I think when I think of it, I think when people who don't go to church look at church, they see religion, you know, like the rules, the regulations, the myths. No, they see a social club as well. They see like, oh, like you guys, you do your church thing, you know, and then like us on the outside, you know, we're not good enough to go to church, or you know, we're not, or it's almost like there's been like a separation, if you like, that's been built up, which is completely false. Like, you know, the church club and then everyone else, and there's a perception like, you know, the people who are in church are better, look down upon the people outside, when that's not the case at all. Church is about family. Church is about community. Church is, we all belong here. Like, you belong here. You all belong here, you know, and come as you are as well. Like, people think, oh, like, you know, I had friends, you know, who'd never really come to church before, and they're like, oh, dang, I wouldn't even know what I'd wear. Like, I'd have to get my suit and my shirt, and I have to come a certain way and look a certain way. And it's like, it's not about a look. It's not about, you know, fitting a church mold, if you like, you know, it's about just come as you are. So and if you come with your hat, with your tracksuit, and, you know, with some Nikes on, cool. Just get yourself through the door and experience the love of Christ, which is reflected and should be reflected in the church.
Wow, so good, so good. And I like as well how when you talked about church, you referenced the people as opposed to the building, because church is not a physical building, it's the people that make the church.
That's right.
And I think that really helps shape or reshape the view of faith. And that kind of links to my next question for you guys, which is when it comes to faith, what does that mean to you guys specifically in person?
No, I think it's a good question, Izzy. I think definitely my faith has shaped who I am today in the 21 years I've been alive, and definitely when I started to take my faith more seriously is when like my life started to change around my faith, instead of my faith changing around my life. I think one of the turning points for me, I used to see God as like God and me, and now it's more of a God the Father and me as a child of God. I think I used to when I was growing up, I used to think, if God knows everything about me, if God knows my thoughts and my feelings, why do I need to pray? Why do I need to talk to God about anything? And someone once said to me, he was like, imagine you are a father of a child, and your child comes home from school and you know they've had a terrible day. You know they're upset and they just want to, but they're not showing anything. They're not reaching out to you. All you long for as the father is for them to tell you how they're feeling.
That's right,
And I think that was a real turning point for me as a Christian, seeing God as my father. For it being a relationship instead of like a religion and a like rules-based thing. It was seeing God as a father and someone who I can like talk to and actually go to in a real way.
That's so good.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, for me, faith is like my confidence or my trust, right? You know, I was saying earlier how I'm an Arsenal fan, and I said, you know, please pray for us Arsenal fans, because we go through a lot. Because, you know, at the start of every season, you know how it'd be like, this season's gonna be our season. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna win this, and then what happens? You know, typical Arsenal shenanigans. You know, we lose and just awful play, you know. So then through that time, you know, we have hope at the start, but really, and we always say, you know, we hope and have faith in Arsenal, but then we're always let down, right? Or another, you know, example I could use is, so if you know Izzi, you know that he is a FIFA whiz.
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are. And I played Izzi only one time, I think, or a couple of times, but the first time we played, what was this? You tell him the score.
It was a little 8-0. Little 8-0.
We've all been there, bro. We've all been there.
My career was finished after that FIFA game, honestly. But see, now if I was going to replay Izzi, I would have confidence that 99.99999% he is going to whoop my behind because he plays FIFA, right? And I really don't. The thing is, when we have faith in Jesus, or we place our faith in not kind of myself or the world, but in the creator of the world. Jesus and God, or God, however you want to say it, they're never ever going to let you down.
That's good.
He's always there for you. It doesn't matter what you've been through, what your background might be, who maybe you used to be in the past, or it doesn't matter. The whole point is that this whole thing is love. God, Jesus is love, and that is unconditional for all people.
Wow.
So for me, faith really is putting my trust in the creator, if you like, of the universe, the all-loving God, as is like described as, the all-knowing God, the all-caring God, who loves each and every single one of his people, so everyone on the earth, the same amount. And he's just saying, like Josh was saying, it's a relationship-based, individual to you. So it's not even like me, you and God, or me, Josh and God. It's like me and God, and you and God, and Josh and God. And it's just that individual relationship that he so desperately wants to be that father figure in our lives.
So good.
Yeah.
And I love how you all got to that place where you see God and you as a relationship and nothing more, like in terms of like it being a religion and a works-based religion in that sense. But obviously what people may not see is the behind the scenes and how you got to that stage. Because I know a lot of people who are actually very interested in what we do and in our faith because of the way we've acted, but they found it hard to kind of find the beginning stepping stones to get to that place. So for those people who are interested in faith, the Christian faith, how do you think that they can achieve that kind of relationship with God?
It's a good question again. I think it's great that people question what church is about. I think you would be naive to jump into it just assuming it's all right without checking your facts. So I think it's great that you question it. I would say that like the reason you would probably question it would either be because you've seen it in someone else, or like because of what you're surrounded with, that might be an influence that makes you think it. So I'd say talk to your Christian friends. If they are like around you, or if they're someone that influences you, then definitely talk to them. They'd love to have a conversation. I'd say visit church, like we said before, like those myths and stereotypes that people have built up about church. When you actually go to church, you see what church is like on a day-to-day, or like on a regular basis, instead of the one-off event that you go to, the wedding, the christening, the funeral, where it is all traditional. If you go to a church on a Sunday, you'd see it in its form. So I think your stereotypes and your walls will be broken down when you visit church. We do something at Harbour and a lot of other churches as well called Alpha, which is just a real safe place to just ask questions, any questions. There's no silly questions about the faith, about creation, about anything really. It's just a place to kind of explore your faith and just hear about some of the facts and the background information about where the Bible and the Christian faith all stems from. And then finally, I guess the Bible is where the Christian faith is totally built from. So get involved with that. But those are 4 things that I'd say would be: speak to your friends about it, visit church and break those stereotypes, try Alpha if you fancy it, and then get involved in the Bible.
Strong stuff there.
Yeah, to be honest, I can't honestly add that much more to it. He named kind of the 3 or 4 main things you could do. I mean, one thing that is like so good about the kind of the situation or the season we're in right now with this whole COVID and like lockdown, or as many people know, like churches and big gatherings have kind of been closed. So we have this amazing opportunity to present church online, that so many churches, most churches are probably doing. So it's never been easier to access church. I think that's a big barrier to a lot of people to even explore kind of Christianity, is like actually walking through a church, because there's that whole fear factor of I don't know what to do, and I don't want to go by myself if they didn't have any Christian friends. But now all you can do is like church online, bang, and it's there. And then that's why church online is so amazing, because it gives the opportunity for non-Christians or people who are interested in the faith to just have like a little peek inside of, so this is what church is like, and it kind of will hopefully like break down those like barriers, like they don't do this and they're not like this, and they're actually nice people, and they have love. They're not all like judgmental. Do you know what I mean? Alpha, sick. Like it's just dope. Like as Josh said, you know, there's no such thing as a bad question. So just ask away. You know, everyone has their different you know, questions. Like, you know, when I've helped facilitate an Alpha course before, I'm always taken aback by the creative and also just really deep, interesting questions that people have.
That's good.
Because I do think, as you said earlier, you know, a lot of people are interested in it, and you know, if we do, a lot of people don't want to think about the whole concept of like faith and stuff because it's quite scary, and there's an element there of like ignorance is bliss.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you know, we do want to think, like, is there more to life than this, and is there, you know, something after you, like, you know, we might pass on. So there, I think that's why Alpha is such a great, you know, place to explore these questions and ask any question you might have.
Yeah.
And testimonies from friends, and, you know, just, if you do have Christian friends, cool, you know, you're halfway there. Just ask them, what is Jesus, how has Jesus made an impact in their life? And just go from there, I think.
I agree.
But yeah, I would really highly suggest church online. There's no, that is literally like baby step, you know, first baby step to get there.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And I think kind of picking on from where you left off in terms of the barriers that exist, I think another reason why so many non-Christians are hesitant to giving the faith like a chance is because of how countercultural it is. But at the same time, there's so much gold, I think, in having something countercultural to help with the issues that we see in our culture today. So to that point, what do you guys think about being part of a faith that is so countercultural?
Yeah, it is countercultural.
Right.
Like Jesus was not what society was,
Yeah.
and he came to be everything that society wasn't.
Right.
And you know, we're called to be, you know, somewhat similar to that. But I think ultimately the Bible teaches a message of love, and we don't have to look very far to see that the world could do with some more love.
Definitely.
You know, you look out, you know, look outside, look at the news, look on social media, you can see that love would change the way that society treated itself. And so, yeah, I think it is countercultural because society's got to a place at the moment where love isn't the priority. And so, yeah, I think that's why, and one way in which the Christian faith, and you know, other ways as well. But I think what the Christian faith does is it restores the love element to their life and to the lives of others. So yeah, I think that's one way that it changes society.
100%.
Yeah, to add on to what Josh said, you know, it's all about love. Like the basis of the Christian faith is literally like love God and love others, and you know that love is so important, as Josh said. And we look at our world, and I mean, it's just like, you know, we can watch news and you're just like, what is actually even going on in this world, you know? And it's very, very easy to judge. But I think Jesus was so countercultural, and he even loved the lowest of the low in society, if you like, you know, like the tax collectors, for example. We don't really have that in this modern day, but they were seen as like utter, like they were the worst of society. There were people who, if they were deemed, you know, to have like a certain disease, really unclean, and they were even cast out from the city. Like talk about mass discrimination, right? It's really horrible. But the whole thing is about, for us, it's reflecting that love, like Jesus did, and that's essentially what, you know, it's all about, is reflecting love. So I just add on to that.
It's really good.
I think society kind of teaches us to approach everything in like, what can you or what can they do for me? Like, be it in shops, you walk into a shop, what can they do for you? And wherever you are, you know, relationships, what can the other person do for me? And I think what the Bible teaches and what the Christian faith is all about is actually what has God already done for us. And that is countercultural because it changes the whole way that you approach everything. But it is a perfect example of how we can live our lives in a way.
Yeah, and just to quickly add on that, I mean, the reason as well Jesus was so countercultural is because it was unpopular, you know, like the world says, you know, you achieve success by doing this, and you know, like, you have to be in a relationship, and I got to get married by the time I'm 26 and have my full-time job when I'm 28, and then have like 3 kids. Like, you know, there's just a way society says you got to live your life. And the reason so many people fall into like, you know, like just I don't know, issues like depression, etc., is because they're trying to conform to the way society says and make their image based on what the societal or the popular image is. But as Josh just said, like, Jesus was not about that at all. He was really countercultural. And the thing that I believe, like, for me as a Christian is that I don't get my identity from, you know, the world or, you know, all these things and people pleasing, conform to society, but that in fact my identity is, you know, with God.
Wow.
So I can have that rest in that I don't need to perform. As he was saying, it's not a works-based religion. I know I'm not talking in a religious context, but it's not about performing and trying to reach the standards or expectations of others, but rather, if God is pleased with me, that's the most important thing at the end of the world, you know, and at the end of the day, you know. So
No, so good. And I think as well, especially in recent times, especially in 2020, we've seen so many things go wrong in our culture and in our society. I think we do need to start thinking counterculturally in order to help rectify these issues that we have seen. And also, kind of based on everything that we've just said, how do you guys believe that your faith, or faith in general, faith in God, can help bring meaning and purpose back into the lives of others?
I think my faith brings me so much freedom in knowing that what Jesus did for me on the cross, like the forgiveness that comes from that. I think my faith brings me comfort, knowing that I've got an all-loving Father whose love for me won't change regardless of what I do. My faith brings me excitement about the future, knowing that there is a perfect plan for me that I am trying to like figure out and discern like where it can go. So I think there are like lots of different things that my faith brings to my life that makes it more exciting. So yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, how has like faith affected my life? It's lifted a burden. You know, that like I said earlier, like that burden to conform or perform for like society and for others, because you know it's very easy for it to become like a competition, even with like, you know, your closest boys or your best mates or whatever. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I got this now and I'm here now and I've achieved all this type of stuff now. But with God and with Jesus, you know, we don't have to try so hard or work so hard. It's not like life is not a burden. It's not supposed to be. Life is hard. It is hard, but it's easier when you got someone to do it with. That being like, you know, Jesus and stuff. So for me, it's just really, it's given me peace, as Josh said. You know, like just that peace that, you know, everything's gonna be all right. I think, you know, that I don't really have to stress. I mean, if I do, it's because I'm letting my faith kind of waver, saying, oh God, you're not bigger than the situation that I'm in right now. You know, that I don't believe that you can help me through it. And then when I remember, like, you know, he is our loving Father and he would never leave or, you know, like forsake us or, you know, hate us or whatever, you know, or want bad things for us, you know, that gives so much, you know, peace. And the thing as well with the purpose and the plan, you know, he's got plans for each and every single one of us. You know, I believe every one of us is unique. We all have something to offer, you know, something to contribute to this world, to society in a bigger way. You know, the world is more than just us, but we all have something to contribute to this, you know, to society and to this, you know, thing we call life. So yeah, that's really helped me a lot, you know, knowing that it's not just me.
That's good.
Yeah. I love what you said about it lifts the burden off it. I think one of those stereotypes towards religion as a whole is that it puts a burden on you.
Right.
And like it means that suddenly you have to follow all these like rules and there are these regulations and chains that hold you down now that you're a Christian. But I don't think it could be anything further than that. I think, like we said before, the freedom that comes from it, the excitement, the comfort, all these things that you gain by knowing Jesus. It's great.
Hey, that's so good. So good. And I think following from this conversation, let's hope that a lot of people will kind of see faith in a different way, something that is inviting as opposed to push on people. So thank you guys for coming on and having the conversation.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Izzy.
No worries. There you have it. That is episode 2 done on the topic of faith. We really hope that rather than having a preconceived opinion on it, why don't you try it out? Why don't you talk to your Christian friends? And also, why don't you just try Alpha? There'll be information down below about what Alpha is, so make sure you come along to that. Well, guys, we'll see you again next week. Peace.